Hello everyone, and welcome back to CineView. For this episode, we'll be taking a look at Fast X. It is the 10th installment of the original Fast and Furious film franchise, and the 11th installment overall. And with a budget of $340 million, over a third of $1 billion, it is the most expensive movie that I'm reviewing so far. Don't ask me why it's expensive like that, but let's just get it on though. I love the Fast and Furious film franchise. It's one of my favorite film franchises ever, if not my most favorite. And to think how it evolved from a Grand Theft Auto style film to a blockbuster franchise with MCU style content. The action-packed stories and the characters are to die for. And if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend you do so. French filmmaker Louis Leterrier is the director for the film. It was originally supposed to be Justin Lin, who had already directed 5 previous Fast and Furious films, but he dropped out for some reason. But he was still a screenwriter and one of 5 producers for the film, including Neil H. Mortens, who had produced every single Fast and Furious film. He was there since the beginning. And Vin Diesel, the main star of this film, as well as the main star and producer of a few previous films as well. He was in almost all of the previous Fast and Furious films. The legendary ensemble cast from the previous films returned to this movie, and there are a few new faces as well, including Daniela Melchior, Alan Ritchson, Oscar and Emmy winner Brie Larson, EGOT legend Rhea Marino, who plays as Dominic Toretto's grandmother, and Jason Momoa, who is the main antagonist for the film. In addition, the late great Paul Walker appears as his iconic character, Brian O'Connor, via archival footage from Fast 5. His daughter Meadow Walker makes a cameo in the film, along with a few other surprising cameos, including one in particular that I never expected to see, Gazelle. But as we saw with Han in the last film, anything can happen. Remember back in Fast 5 in 2011, where Dominic Toretto and his quote-unquote family robs money from the infamous crime family, the Reyes family, in which Hernan Reyes was killed? Well, 10 years later, Hernan's son, Dante, wants revenge on the family. He wants to kill them all and avenge his father. Dante does many things to try to get revenge on the family, including framing them for a huge bombing in Rome, bringing Dom back to Rio where the feud all began, kidnapping Dom's son, and blowing up a dam in an attempt to kill both Dom and his son. But it's unknown whether or not the explosion would kill Dom and his son, because the story hasn't ended here yet. Who knows whether or not they survived? We'll just have to wait to see what happens in Fast and Furious 11. And many characters in this film are presumed dead. But like I said before, remember what happened with Han and F9? They could all be still alive. Oh, and by the way, Leia had to work with Cypher, even though they were originally enemies. So reviews say that this movie was only average, although they did love Jason Momoa's performance. But I, on the other hand, think it was awesome. The action, as usual, was amazing. There were a couple cringe moments, but everything else made up for it. And the music was great. Also, it had a Måneskin song in it, and I love Måneskin. In Nomad Del Padre was the song being used. And for you Måneskin fans out there, it's going to be played at the bar in Naples. So I hope that helps you. Due to the movie's awesomeness, I'm gonna rate it 9.5 stars out of 10. So that's my review on Fast X. I hope you enjoyed it. My next review is gonna be on Hypnotic, starring Ben Affleck. But until then, I'll see you later. I'll see you next time on CineView.